Hello. Hi, this is Amit from CarDekho. I hope everybody can hear me. Can you just log into the group chat and reply once if you can hear me just fine? Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amit Chabra. I represent CarDekho, and I have with me a colleague of mine, Kavya.
Hi everyone, Kavya this side.
So the objective of this session is two things. We want to. So there have been a lot of concerns we have been hearing from across multiple dealers across India. So there are concerns around how digital leads are generated, what is the exact process followed by CarDekho, what does the CarDekho contact center does, what does the CarDekho field team does, should be updated in DMS, LMS, etc. So there are a lot of concerns that we keep on hearing from multiple dealers. So we have done a lot of in-person visits as well. We have met some of you who are joining today as well. Some of you have not been able to meet. So we thought it's a good platform so this webcast is a good platform to understand your concerns, answer your questions. And if you still have more questions, we'll definitely like to, sort of hear more from you, your questions. So two things. One, I hope you're able to see the deck that's been shared. You should be able to see that on your screen. So we'll move through that as we are on this webcast for the next 1.5 hours. In case you have any questions, just feel free to write it on the chat. So this is a one-way webcast. So just write all your questions as and when you get any question. Please write them down into the chat window on your right, and we'll answer them in the due course of the conversation. Okay, so we'll get started. I'll hand it over to Kavya. He will take you through the slides, explain how leads are formed, what is the exact process of digital lead management, what are the best practices, etc. So we'll take it from here.
Hi everyone. So the basic concern that comes up every time is how are these leads generated? What are these digital leads? How do they come to us? How are they verified? To this presentation, we would like to share all such information with you. And moreover, it is more important that with the kind of focus that Renault has on digital leads right now, we also need to share with you how much potential these digital leads have and what kind of scope we see in these digital leads for Renault. So the first thing that we would want to see is obviously how are these digital leads generated and how do they reach them to you. So as you all know, CarDekho handles all the digital leads for Renault also. So all the sources from where Renault generates leads, they also come to us. So the first and foremost is the Renault call center that you must be knowing, a 1800 phone number that is given to all the customers and accessible by all the customers. And anyone who is calling upon this number, those leads also come to us. These leads are those which are call verified from us and then passed on to you. Similarly, we get SMS leads. These are the print ads or the website ads, the newspaper ads. And there's a short code given for the customers to SMS on that. These leads are also received by us, which are then call verified by our team and then passed on to you if they are interested in buying a Renault car. Similarly, leads are also generated from Renault website. These leads are also call verified the same way. And Renault also does small activations and they have multiple partnerships with other platforms also, like HDFC Bank, where they run sometimes different campaigns, because of which some leads are also generated. These leads are also received by us, verified accordingly, and then passed on to you guys. And the major chunk that also comes from Renault is the multiple partnerships that they do with, sometimes with Facebook, sometimes with Flipkart, and you must be seeing Carvale leads also coming. So these leads are also received from multiple platforms. So for Carvale leads, like These leads are also generated, these are called DCB leads. These are where customer himself puts his interest and verifies the dealer. And then these leads are passed on to us and eventually they are sent to you through the LMS. And obviously there are CarDekho leads which are generated on our platform, our website, our application, our on through different marketing campaigns that CarDekho runs on Facebook and other stuff. So these are also the leads that are coming through our site. Now, what does?
So one thing which is very important here to understand is, whenever you get a lead from CarDekho, it may or may not be a lead which was created on CarDekho. So CarDekho is a website, right? So a lead which comes to you today, a digital lead, it may be a lead which came from CarDekho, but it may also be a lead which came from the Renault.co.in website, or from the call center, or from mall activation, or from Facebook, for example. So one of the things we have noticed across dealers is, when we talk to the customer for the very first time, we ask the customer, sir, you had inquired on CarDekho. And the customer says, no, I never inquired on CarDekho. The reason it happens is that because the customer actually did not inquire on CarDekho. The customer may have inquired on Renault website, or in a mall, or through the call center. So the one change that we need to make is, whenever a digital lead comes, to say, sir, you inquired about a Renault car. You may or may not have inquired on CarDekho, but we need to definitely ask the customer, say, you had inquired about a Renault car. Because the customer may or may not be a CarDekho customer. So this is one important change, I think, or one important clarification which is needed to when we pitch to the customers for the very first time.
Now, we would like to highlight the importance of digital medium, why we are focusing so much on digital leads, why are we asking you guys to make different digital teams specifically working on digital leads, and why is Renault investing so much of time in highlighting these things to you. So now this is a real-time study that we have done with one of the leading consulting groups, Boston Consulting Group, BCG. And these are some figures that will help you understand the impact of digital in the auto sector right now. So if we see, out of all the customers who are searching about car, 3 out of 4 people have actually searched online for a car. So like all the people who are reaching out to you through calls, through walk-ins, they have actually most probably researched online first, and then maybe called you and taken it forward with you guys. So we see that a huge number of people, more than 75% of people, are actually focusing on online information that we have for cars before even going to the dealerships. Similarly, when we focus on the customer behavior, like when do customers actually visit the dealerships, how do they select the car, how do they verify their interest. So if you see, 43% of people, when they're visiting your dealerships, they're already kind of finalized towards which variant they want to buy. Whereas 47% of people are actually comparing between a couple of cars, 2-3 cars, and there is only 10% who are actually just coming into the dealership and saying that we are not decided on anything. So the important thing from here is that when a customer is coming onto your dealership, he's kind of bent on a particular model or a particular variant. So the importance of digital that comes out here is that even when customer is researching online, he may be looking onto multiple cars, and he might be deciding on some car, some variant. But when he comes out to your dealership, he's kind of made up his mind that he's going to pursue with this car, or at least he has decided about which model he has to buy, which variant he has to buy. He has to get more information from you guys. But when he's comparing between multiple cars, multiple models across multiple OEMs, he's relying more on the online platform. So now if we analyze this more, we see that the source of information that people rely on. So 42% of people, they rely on internet as their source of information in deciding what car they want to buy. And only 32% they actually rely on their past experience. Like if I'm a Maruti customer previously, I would with that car, I would go again for a Maruti. If I'm a Renault customer right now and I have had good experience with the dealer, with the product, I would go with Renault again. So these chunk of people is 32%. So if I see, if we see that, major importantly, it is 42%, which is relying on internet. And if you go back like 5 years, if you would like to see this number 5 years from now, this number would highly increase. We would see people relying on internet may even go up to 60 or 70%. So this shows the importance of digital. Like this is our potential lead base that we are capturing and we are giving on to you to actually, pass on Renault to these customers who are actually focusing on multiple models right now. So instead of just focusing on 10-20% of the people who would come onto your dealership and look for a Renault car, we are now looking up at a larger base. We are looking up multiple customers who would be looking for multiple cars right now. So the importance of digital has grown so much that we are able to, reach out to the customer even before he's reaching our dealership, even before he's calling us up, or maybe, dropping us a message or anything. So that is why the digital medium is so important right now, because we see that a lot of people are relying on internet and online medium for their car buying experience and car buying knowledge. So now when we analyze a little more, we see that a lot of people are comparing between multiple cars. So like we get a lot of concerns that, we got this lead, but the customer was not interested. He was looking for a Hyundai, or he was looking for a Maruti. So now we have to realize that for digital leads, digital customers are looking across multiple brands. They're looking across multiple models. They're not very decisive right now. They're looking out across multiple models and they're gathering information to come to that decision. So this slides shows you the comparison, like what all customers are comparing Quid. See, if you see, for all the people who are looking at Quid right now, 29% of people are also looking at Tiago. So the leads that we are giving to you, they're not just people who are looking at Renault. They might even be looking at competition models, competition brands also. So it is very important for us to realize this, that whenever we are contacting these customers, we have to keep this in mind, that the customer might be interested in some other variant or some other model also. It's Renault in such a way that we are able to highlight the pros, the USPs of our brand, the USPs of our product against these different models.
Also, just to add to this, one important thing that that we need to understand is that in Delhi NCR, we have, I think, more than 60 dealerships for Maruti. There are some 30 odd Hyundai dealers. Whereas when I look at Renault, there are 8 dealers in Delhi NCR. So think of it. If I am a customer and I am planning to buy a Renault Kwid, or I am planning to buy a 4 lakh rupee car, then Renault Kwid may be in my consideration. But when I think of it, okay, Renault showroom is probably 10 kilometers away from my home, whereas a Maruti showroom may be 2 kilometers away from my home on an average. So for me, the effort to go and see a Renault car is much higher. That's one. Secondly, Renault is a newer brand, right? It's been in the country for about 6, 7, 8 years now. There forever. So if I am a customer, I'll be a lot more comfortable with Maruti just for the history that it has. Whereas Renault has great products, and I think Renault also provides great service, but a lot of customers don't know about that yet. Which is also important here is, brand ambassadors. So Renault has sold around 3 lakh cars till now in India. Maruti sells 3 lakh cars every 2 months. So again, all of us have friends who have a Alto or a Swift or a for that matter. Whereas if I look at how many friends of mine have a Quid or a Duster, that number is relatively less. I am a customer. I am slightly unsure about Renault. It's a good product, but it's a new company, new brand. And at the same time, Maruti is available, it's closer, it's easier. So that is the whole reason why it becomes very important that we reach out to the customer quickly. So, no, why do we have this 2 hour follow up system? The reason we have this system is because we need to ensure that all customers who show interest in a Renault car are reached out quickly, because only if we are able to reach them out quickly will actually they eventually come to our showroom and take our car. Otherwise, a Maruti or a Hyundai will reach out to them and they'll never come and buy a Renault car. Logic behind why 2 hour updation is important, why it is important that we follow up with the customers quickly and efficiently. Why do we talk so much about plan of the day leads? This is the one reason. So we are a company who has great products, and we need to ensure that somehow we get the customer into the showroom or do a home visit, make the customer drive the car once, and that's it. After that, the vehicle, the product will do its own job.
So similarly, we have also seen that people who are looking at Tiago are also looking at Quid simultaneously. So what is important here is that these digital leads, while they're just not looking at your brand, there are other models also. Like from this slide, we see that people who are looking at Tiago, out of those, 40% of people are also looking at Quid. So the importance of digital leads is such that you are actually getting access to these people who might be looking at Tiago, who might be looking at Ignis, who might be looking at Alto. So you have the possibility to engage with them and let them know about your product and have them buy your product. So, but this would not be the case in case of dealer visits, walk-ins. The customers would be walking at your dealership, would be kind of sure that they are going to buy Renault. But with these digital leads, we have much more scope, we have much more potential, because the customer might be looking at some other model and we have the chance to make him go through our product and have him buy our product. So these slides are basically giving an indication that there are a lot of people who are comparing multiple models across our platforms, and Renault has this kind of availability that they can access these customers and make them more interested towards Renault. If I look at CarDekho, 34% of people are looking at Quid. So you see that there's a huge chunk of people who are comparing across different models, and we have that kind of access that we are able to reach out to these customers, and if we do that timely, we are able to sell them our product also. So that is the whole crux of Renault pushing dealers to update the leads into us, to the plan of the day leads. 2 hour percentage should be good, because we all know that, like Amit said right now, it's a very competitive market, and if we are able to reach our customers proactively, we might even steal the customers who are going for a Maruti or a Hyundai, and we might actually sell Renault to them. So now there have been a lot of questions that the lead quality is not good. Sometimes customers say that they are not interested right now. They're just checking about the price. They were just wanted to know about the product. They're not very interested in buying the car right now. So now for this, we did a study, like what is the lead cycle, what is the response of the customers who are actually buying the car. So we did this. Study on a 80,000-90,000 lead base, where the customers are actually purchased a car. So what we realized is we tracked down their customer behavior on our website. We tracked it down right to the start. So if a customer is buying a car right now, we realized that a typical customer journey is spread over a 3-month period. So a customer who's buying a car right now, he has started his online research 3 months before now. This figure, you see 3 main segments divided by these green lines. So the first segment is where the customer is more about the information, where he's in, asking about the price, he's checking out the model page, he's checking out the pictures and the videos of the car. He's more into, getting the feel of the car, knowing more about the car. And whereas if you move on to the second stage, he's getting more specific to the car now. He's checking out offers. He's checking out, the finance options related to it. He's even dropping his interest for a dealer visit. And finally comes a phase where he's more interested about, purchasing the car, and he eventually gets the car. So if you look here now, what do we capture? How do we capture the customers? We capture the customers in these first two phases. Like earlier, we were saying that customer was interested in knowing about the price. We got to know that this customer is interested in buying a car. He was checking out the pictures. We got to know, yes, this customer is also a possible buyer, and so on. So now the thing is, earlier what we were doing is we were giving you leads where the customer was inquiring about the price. We verified them and then we passed it on to you guys. And so but we heard a lot about this, that the dealers were saying that, the customers wanted to know about the car, but they were not interested in buying the car. Or sometimes they were saying that we are not interested to buy the car right now, but we might buy in, 5 months down the lane or 6 months down the lane. What if we, give you more quality leads, like wherein the customer is more focusing on the price part of it, focusing more on the offers part of it. So now what we have done is, instead of giving you leads where the customer was interested in just knowing the price of the car, we are focusing more on the offers part, more on the dealer visit part. So instead of sending you, it's like if we were sending you 100 leads previously, we're now focusing on more on those 70, 80 leads, which are maybe of a higher quality, wherein the customers are more interested about the offers, more about the finance, and more about getting a call from the dealer, getting a call back from a dealer. So now we are passing you leads which are already at such a stage where the customer is more interested in the price, offers, or the action part of it. So this is one step that we took from our side to ensure that we give you more hotter customers, more the customers which are more likely to buy car in a shorter period of time. So now, so the whole idea of this part was to tell you how digital is such an important platform for Renault and how we can utilize it, the scope that it has, the vastness it has had, and the way we can reach out to the customers, the market that we see. So that is very important for us right now to touch base with these customers as soon as we can, and possibly tell them more about our brand, more about how we can how we stand against our competition brand. Like I showed that there are multiple models that a customer is looking through. So it is very important that we reach out to these customers at the right time and tell them that, sir, this Maruti has this thing, but Renault has this thing. So it is very important that we reach out at this particular time, because customer is in that phase that is deciding about cars. So it is the digital leads give us that kind of platform that we can change the customer's mind and their mindset about Renault. Now coming on to now that we have known the importance of digital leads, it is more important how we can benefit from them. What is the scope of these leads? It is very important for us to know what is the difference between digital leads and walk-in leads. That now that I've given you a base of how digital leads are generated, how are they passed on to you, what is the importance of them. Now we need to know what is difference between these digital and these walk-in leads. So first and foremost, the main difference is the life cycle. It is very early in its life cycle. Like I showed you, people are comparing between multiple cars. Whereas a walk-in lead, people are more, sure that they're going to buy that particular car. That is why they're walking into a Renault showroom. They know that they're kind of like sure that they're going to buy a Quid. That is why they walk into your dealership. So this is one of the main difference between digital leads and walk-in leads. So that is why we always say that, when you call up a customer, there may be a chance that he would say that he's looking for some other car also, because he is actually looking for some other car. He's comparing between multiple cars. So this is the main difference between digital and a walk-in lead. Similarly, the comparison behavior. A digital customer is comparing between different models. Someone who's walking in is kind of sure which model is buying. So right now, what we can say is that a customer who's looking on digital platform, he's comparing across different models. But when a customer comes to your dealership, he's looking across multiple variants of the same model. So you see, this is the difference. When the customer is searching online, he's looking across Redigo, he's looking for Quid, he's looking for Alto. But when it comes to your dealership, he's looking for RXT, he's looking for airbags, he's looking for power windows. So he's decided that he's going to buy Quid, but he's now looking more for the facilities and the variants in that same model. And lastly, the lead nurturing time that we have observed. For digital leads, a lead may take 3 to 4 months to actually convert. Leads, you guys know that a walk-in lead can convert within a week also. So we have to have that kind of approach within our system, that for a digital lead, we have to make sure that if a customer says, like, I don't want to buy right now, I'll buy like 2 months from now. Sometimes we also hear about this, that the customer says, I'm not going to buy now, I'm looking for other car. So it is important for us to realize that a digital lead takes time to convert, and it is important for us to keep it in our. We cannot just mark the lead, as lost because the customer said he's not interested in buying the car right now. Yes, he is not interested in buying the car right now because he's comparing across multiple models. He might make a decision within a month. He might make a decision after 2 months. But he is very much interested in buying the car. That is why he has dropped the lead. So it is very important to understand this life cycle of digital versus walk-in leads. When we compare it with the conversion of walk-ins also, many dealers say that, we do get leads, but eventually they do not convert. They get marked as lost because the customer says that he does not want to buy a car, or maybe they're not able to reach out to the customer every time. So when we checked out, Renault's performance with other brands, for Renault, we have noticed that Renault gives a typical conversion around 4 to 5% on digital leads. This is overall across India, but when we see for a certain similar OEM, we see that the conversion has gone as high as 8 to 10% also. And it is not just about any other OEM. For Renault also, there are multiple dealers of Renault who are giving us a conversion of 8 to 10% right now also. So it is not that the quality of digital leads is low, or the digital leads give a poor conversion. It is more about the the process that we follow to convert those leads, the follow-up cycle that we do, the engagement that we do with these leads, that also influences the conversion of these leads. Dealer is able to convert or give a conversion of 8 to 10%. Why not everyone can give that? Every dealer has that kind of potential because it is the same digital lead that dealer is also getting, and the same lead is being done, same quality lead is being passed on to you also. So every dealer has that kind of scope that they can give around 8 to 10% conversion if the process, if the follow-ups, if the engagement is timely and proper. Very important here to know that we mark the leads lost very casually. That people marking leads as lost just because the customer did not pick up the phone. Sometimes the customer number was busy. See that when we analyze these lost leads, we realized for Renault around 20% of these leads had actually retailed. So like if we check up 100 leads which were marked as lost, we saw that out of those 100 leads, 20 customers had actually bought a Renault car also. Some had even bought a different car. So it is not that the customer is not interested to buy a car. It is just that you're not reaching him out at a particular time, at the right time. That is why you're not able to connect with him. And customers, just because we are not able to reach them out at a time which the customer feels feasible according to him. And we hope that with sustained follow-up, and it is because we have noticed this across multiple dealers in the Renault only, in Renault domain only, that if sustained follow-up is maintained, if regular and timely follow-up is maintained, 10 to 20% incremental retails can be achieved. And this is not just Renault specific. We have noticed this across multiple OEMs that if the process is improved, direct influence on the retail conversion. It's important for us to teach our consultants to teach that marking a lead as lost is not. It should not be the purpose because I know there is guidelines that a lead has to be updated within 2 hours, that a lead has to be updated as and when it has been planned. But it does not mean that we have to update it falsely or maybe update it just for the heck of updating it. The lead life cycle has to be kept in the lead process cycle because the digital leads require that kind of cycle. The customers want your callbacks. They want them so that they are able to make a and see the possible outcome of that. So studying on various dealers, we did a detailed analysis of dealers in North also, in Central also, and these are some common pitfalls that we have found out because of which the dealer performance, their follow-up, their rankings have been affected. So as I told you, the first part is obviously leads being marked as lost. So we have noticed that if the customer says that, I don't want to buy a car right now, but I would maybe, buy after 2 months or maybe after 3 months, the dealers have marked that lead as lost. And eventually what happens is that the same customer comes to you as a walk-in after 2-3 months. Maybe he might go to a different brand and he buys a car. So what happens is the customer was actually interested in buying a car, but because he wasn't interested in buying a car right now, we marked it as lost, which should not be done because we have identified many retails from such lost cases. And if we keep these lost cases in our loop, convert a customer who's looking for a Maruti, and if we follow up with him regularly, tell him about our brand, our product, we might actually customer to buy Renault. So it is a very important thing that we do not mark the customers as lost just because he's not going to purchase the car in the same month. Secondly, the customers who are not reachable. Again, we cannot just mark these leads as lost because the customer is not approachable. So right now also, if I had shown interest for a car, and we all are having this discussion right now, if I receive a call right now, I will, just hang it up. I mean, I'm not interested in a car. It just means that the concerned person is busy right now. He might not be able to take a call right now. And it is the duty of the dealer to, reach him out at a different time. Reach him out at that particular time where the customer wanted to. Tells you to reach him at 4 o'clock, you should be able to call at 4, because if you call at 5, he might be engaged with something else and he might not pick up your call. So this is also very important that the customers who are not reachable or who are not attending to your calls, don't just mark them as lost. Keep trying them because they have dropped the lead. If they have dropped the lead, they are interested in buying a car. All right. So finally, the other thing is also that we have noticed that many dealers, they call up the customer, they tell that, okay, if you want to have a test drive the car and a feel of the car, you visit the dealership, you visit our outlet, and we'll show you. Then these are digital leads sitting at his home. So it would be very effective if we reach out to these customers, we go and give them a test drive, we give home visits to the customer, and we have noticed a very remarkable, impact of this. The North area right now have started actively working on this. They are going for more home visits. They are giving more test drives at home. Because of that, they are seeing improvement in their conversion also. Because when you are reaching out to the customer feels privileged towards your brand. So it is important that we encourage home visits, test drives. We try to reach out to the customer instead of telling him to reach out to us. We are more proactive in that approach. Finally, it is also very important that we have a for our digital leads, because like I've told you the difference between digital leads and non-digital leads, the life cycle of these leads, how these leads are generated and everything. So because the whole nature of these leads is different, we need to address these leads also differently. These can be as non-digital or walk-in leads. So it is very important that we have a dedicated digital team, and to also make sure that the team does not feel demotivated, we can have a higher incentive structure for the consultants who are working on digital leads, because for working the conversion percentage maybe 20 higher than that. For digital leads, we need to have a conversion of 8 to 10%. And even if they, because the conversion is slightly lower than the walk-in leads, it is important that the executives do not feel working on digital leads. So we can have a higher incentive structure for them more efficiently on digital leads, because they also have that kind of scope as much as walk-in leads. So finally, if I see like I told dealers throughout India, Renault dealers who are also giving us a good conversion on digital leads. This chart here shows you dealers. Like in Noida, we have Kanpur in Central, we have a dealer in Gujarat, West region also, we have in South region also, we have in East region also. So there are dealers across multiple regions who are giving us this kind of conversion right now. It's not very difficult. It is not that digital leads are not good enough, or the digital leads do not get converted easily. Yes, there is a certain their conversion difference between how they can be treated, but they have a similar scope, and it is very much visible from this chart where we are seeing that there are some dealers who are giving us this conversion, and at the same time there are many dealers like that are being shown right now who, in spite of being given a lot of leads, are not able to reach that kind of conversion. So what could be the difference between these dealers and the dealers which have a good conversion? The only difference is the lead management. How do we handle those leads? How do we take care of the leads of the digital customers? Because all the dealers are receiving equivalent leads. It's all digital leads, same source, same verification process for everyone. It is just the nurturing cycle, and how we treat those leads, how we efficiently address the customers, and how is our uh, reach out time to those customers, how is our test drive to those customers, how are our home visits to those customers, that eventually influence our retail cycle. Now, after seeing all this, what should be the way forward? What should be the process that we should be looking at? What should be the ideal follow up with the leads? So now looking at that, it is very as Renault has already given you guidelines that leads have to be followed up within 2 hours of their assignment, and they have to be updated on the same day that they've been scheduled. These are in line with the same things that I've told you all this time, that how leads should be handled, how should they be updated on a regular basis to actually gain a better conversion on our leads. So firstly, it is very important that we have a dedicated digital team for us. And for many dealers throughout India, this has already been aligned. And if at any outlets of your dealers, there are still, this is still not done, it would be very helpful and beneficial for you also that you number of people. It may not be a very big team, but depending on the lead flow, you might assign at least 1 or 2 people who are dedicatedly working on digital leads. They should not be working on walk-ins or the tele-ins. Let them work on digital leads. And because the digital leads have a different lead cycle, they have a whole different, the way of getting converted. So these digital consultants, when they work specifically on digital leads, they would know how to address these customers and how to engage with them frequently. So they would be able to convert those leads better, and I also that they would not be comparing these with walk-ins, since they'd be only working on digital leads. Secondly, like I said, it is equally important that these consultants are motivated enough to work on digital leads. The consultants who are working on walk-ins are getting higher incentives. So we propose that there should be a higher incentive structure for these consultants who work on digital leads, so that because there may be a slight gap in the conversion percentage of walk-in versus digital, but because we believe that the scope and the scope of digital leads is still very high, and the conversion ratio that we are targeting of around 8 to 10%, with that, it would be very helpful if we give them a higher incentive structure to these consultants, so that they feel equally motivated enough and they keep on working on the digital leads as they would have worked on walk-in leads. On the process side, we have to start avoiding common mistakes. Like I showed you some stats around this. There are many leads which get marked as lost, and then our team here identifies that retails have been identified through them. So do not mark leads as lost just because you're not able to reach out to the customers. It is important to keep the leads in loop in the life cycle, because we now know that the digital lead have a life cycle of at least 3-4 months. For us to keep them in the loop, keep following up with them, and do not just mark them as lost just because we're not able to reach out to them at one instant, or maybe the customers told us that he's not looking for a car right now. Just keep them in loop and keep following up on them. Put up a call back. Like if you call me up right now and I say that I'm not looking for a car right now, I'll think of it after a couple of months. Just put a call back of starting June or mid-June, so that you can again contact me and maybe ask them. Because of this, you are able to engage with the customer, and because we are competing against multiple brands, we also keep the customer engaged with our brand, because the customer might be looking after Maruti car or a Hyundai car also, and if you are reaching out to him in between, he'd be having this kind of image in his head that whenever he's looking for a car, he'll have. So you get that kind of opportunity that you're able to reach out to the customer and put this in his head that there's a Renault car also available for him, and you guys are out there to reach him out whenever he's in need for a car. Also, like I said, there are many dealers who are working on the home visits and test drives right now, and it has worked wonders for them. It would be equally good that we focus more on home visits now and giving test drives to customers. Making it a maybe a performance metrics also for some consultants, that they're able to give at least these number of test drives in a month, because once a customer gets a test drive, his inclination towards the brand, his inclination towards the car, it increases, and moreover it helps you get in touch with the customer physically. You get to meet him and you get to tell him more about the car. So it is very important that we are able to convert more home visits and test drives. because it will eventually help our conversion. So all this time I've been telling you what the dealers should be doing, what you guys should be doing. Side by side, we have also implemented certain things at our end, in association with Renault Central team also. So now, like I told you earlier, we were giving you leads which were, looking for just prices. Now we are giving you a more higher, uh, convertible lead, because the leads are now being given to you at that stage where a customer is call back. He's asking for offers. He's asking for maybe car finance. So the leads that we are giving to you now are more hotter. They may be able to convert it in a very short time. So this is something that we are doing from our side. So also, if you see in the current slide, we have also started weekend operations. Like we got to know that there are many customers who put up leads on our website during weekends. Even on the Renault website, they're putting leads on weekends and we're not able to reach them. So now we have started calling those customers even on weekends, so that we are able to reach them timely and verify them and pass them on to you. And this is also why Renault is telling you guys to update those leads in 2 hours, irrespective if it is a holiday or it is a Sunday, because a digital customer, he would more likely to be available on weekends instead of weekdays. So from our side also, we have started calling and verifying these customers on weekends. Also, we have set up a field team. There must be some of you guys who would have already interacted with one of our field team members. We have around 13-14 people right now who have been allocated territories throughout India, who are regularly interacting with dealers, solving their problems and addressing their issues. Side by side, there has been a lot of changes in the reporting and reporting and the analysis part of how the leads are performing. We are regularly updating the 2 hours report that you get, the plan of the day report that you get. We are sharing that we are looking at it more intensively now and sharing it with Renault Central team also, because that helps us to know that some dealers who are giving us 100% on the 2 hour tag, 100% on the plan of the day tag. We now see that they're actually giving us more conversion than they were giving us like 3-4 months back. So because of these escalations and these tracking of reports and these metrics, they're able to identify that these, benefiting from these different performance process metrics that we are following, that Renault is telling you to follow. We have also set up a help desk for you, or an email ID that has been shared with you, and also a mobile number, which you guys can any day call up, anytime call up, and we'll address your issues right there. I hope you guys are also using that. We do receive some emails and we try to sort them out very soon. So now this slide also shows the same which includes the weekend operations, the field team, the escalation process. These escalation also includes the some of the leads which do not get updated within a day, within 2 days, to area managers, so that they can follow up with you guys and try to sort out if there are any differences. There's also that 2 hour report that you guys must be following, because of which there's a whole rating system devised now. Also the help desk that I told you right now, and so trying to identify why leads are being marked as lost. We have our team who is calling on lost cases, who's calling to identify why the customers are not interested to buy Renault. And we have noticed that many number of times, many leads get reopened from these lost leads also. Like when we call up the customers, he says that I was interested for buying a car, but then I did not receive a call timely from the dealer, or maybe he did not want to buy a car at that time, but he is interested now to buy a car. On these leads also, and we try to reopen these leads for you, so that you guys can contact the customer again and tell him more about the product, so that they can buy the car. So also we along with Renault have found out some dealers where we believe that there's a very high potential, who have been getting a lot of leads, but they're not performing as we hope them to. So we have also decided to work alongside them and try to implement all these process changes that I've told you, and try to change their mindset about digital leads. And believe me, we have been working with them for like 2-3 months now, and we have noticed certain changes in their conversions and their performance metrics, because now that they're following up more intensively and more dedicatedly on digital leads, that performance is easily being seen right now. And finally, we have currently around 4 to 5% conversion that we discussed earlier also, and we hope that if we follow up this process timely, the process and the lead nurturing cycle that we discussed all this time, we hope it is very much possible that of 7 to 8% is. Uh, I think this is from our side, but we would like to have questions from you guys. And because there have been many concerns regarding this DMS, deduplication leads, the updation of leads. So I would like to say a little more about that. How should we update the lead? Now we all know that earlier we were using LMS for our lead updation. Reno DMS is up and running very efficiently. We have to update the leads in LMS only for the first time. Whenever you get a new lead in LMS, and for all the subsequent, all the next updates, you have to update them in DMS. Come to LMS, actually flow to the DMS also. So you do not have to worry that if a lead is coming in LMS, will you be able to see it in DMS or not? It will show up in DMS also. Just because updating, tracking 2 hours is very important for us, whether it in 2 hours or not. That is why we want you to update the leads for the first time in LMS, so that we are able to track that you have updated the leads in 2 hours. And done in DMS, which will eventually LMS within a day. We have set up a process for that also, so that you do not have to work on both the platforms. From now onwards, whatever new leads you get, update them in LMS. So, if there are any more questions, you guys can just comment or in the chat section right here. I'll answer your questions right away. If there are any concerns around anything, you can ask right away. Anything about the leads, anything about LMS, DMS, the roads. If there's anything, you guys can question, put up a question right here. So this is pretty much from our side. We'll just hang on for like 4-5 minutes. If any one of you has any question, or if you want to discuss about anything, just write it up here. Otherwise, we'll just wind up.
a couple of questions which I'll quickly answer. Hold on. Okay, so the first question is, so how should we call or respond to leads which are not reachable or no response? So typically, what we have seen is that you should try at least 4 to 5 times before marking a lead lost. Now, and why does this happen? So think of it. Right now, all of us are sitting in a meeting, and let's say around this time, suddenly you get a call from somebody who's trying to sell you something. Now, what will be your immediate reaction? Your immediate reaction will be that I'm busy. I'm busy. So you'll either cut the call or would not pick up the call. In case you get another call, you'll probably pick up the call, but would end up disconnecting it or saying, no, I'm not interested right now, call me later, etc., etc. So this is a very natural reaction, and this is something that happens on all types of leads, all scenarios. This can possibly happen. From our side is one, at least try 4 5 times before we give up that this lead is not interested or not reachable. And secondly, what you should do is try a different time. So maybe a customer is busy in the evening. So you should, when you call up the next time, try calling the customer up in the morning. Try calling up on the weekend, etc. So try different things before you give up and say that the customer is not reachable or there's no response from the customer. The other thing which is also very important is you should send an SMS to the customer or send a WhatsApp to the customer that whenever you are free, please call us back, so that the customer can then call you at his or her leisurely time. This is another good way of helping, of sort of reaching out to the customers when they are free. Next question: outstation inquiries are calculated in performance or not? So currently, yes, they are calculated in your performance. So the conversion rate that's calculated includes outstation leads. However, that said, outstation leads, and this is something that I've said sort of continuously wherever we have gone, there should not be any outstation leads going, coming to you at all. So the one request that I have for all of you is, whenever you get any outstation leads, just send it to us. Send it to Melvin or send it to CarDekho directly. It happens because, see, one case may be that there is no dealer and you're actually the nearby dealer to that specific customer. So we can't do, and that customer is genuinely interested, right? So that customer may buy the car. However, or any other problem because of which outstation leads are coming, please let us know. We will try to fix it up as soon as possible. Okay. Next question is, so this question is around updation of leads from in DMS or LMS. This question is from Nipen Dwara. So the direction that we have from Renault is that all updations should be made in DMS. You should use only DMS to update. However, that said, in case there is any problem in logging in into DMS, etc., you can use LMS. But the recommendation from our side is that you should make all the updates in DMS only. It's fine, use only DMS. It will also be simpler for you. It will be one system. So it's better that you use DMS. That is perfectly okay. All the updates that you make in DMS sync back into LMS. So your 2-hour updation percentage, your plan of the day updation, all of that is not affected. Okay, the other question comes from Renault Nagaon. Often digital lead visitor customers also walk into the showroom and vice versa. How do we treat them? Okay, so I'll explain how this works. There is a process that has been set up with Renault very recently. It's called deduplication. What it means is that any leads which are duplicate with an existing CarDekho lead or an existing walk-in lead, they would not be able to enter the system. So it means two things. The first thing is The first thing is, so if let's say a customer comes to CarDekho and that customer is already present on in your DMS as a walk-in lead, then that lead will no longer be sent to you from CarDekho. So we have set this up process very recently. Last week only this process has started, but no lead which is already in your system as a walk-in or a tele-in lead or a reference lead, it will not be able to enter the system as a digital lead at all. So that duplication will not happen. I have seen from a bulletin that was sent out to you in March, in case there is an active digital lead which is already live in your system, you are not allowed to create a walk-in lead for that customer. You should update the same digital lead only. So you are not allowed to, the DMS does not allow you to update, to create a duplicate lead for the same phone number for a customer who is already an active digital lead in your system. So there is deduplication in both ways. So with a digital lead, it should remain digital or empty to the end, the time it's retailed. And if it's a walk-in lead, it should stay a walk-in lead till the last moment, till it is retailed. Okay. The next question is how to open lost inquiry. This is so this is a question from Baby Bhattacharji. I don't think you can open lost inquiries in DMS. The right way is you'll have to create a new lead. That is the only option. Next question from Nipin Dwara. What is the last timing for updating daily pending leads, not fresh leads? Day, which is 12 midnight. If you update your daily pending leads within that calendar day, they will be counted in your performance. Next question from Sanjay Ranjan. Existing inquiries should be lost or kept in the system. In the system till the point that a customer is interested. If a customer is clearly saying that I'm not interested, I don't want to buy a car, it's separate. But otherwise, if a customer is interested, they are saying that I'll buy the car after 1 month, 2 months. I'm thinking you should definitely keep that inquiry open in the system and keep following up with the customer. Next question from Gibre Motors. Customer is already booked through a walk-in, but later he goes through CarDekho. Which lead has to be treated to that customer? So for you, whichever lead comes first is how you should attribute it. So for example, if a walk-in lead came first, lead came after, that lead will not be able to enter the system only. So for all practical purposes, whichever source comes first, you should use that. So if a lead was walk-in earlier and then CarDekho, it won't enter the system at all now, but you should treat that as a walk-in lead. Next question from Anju Lata. There's a customer who inquired as a walk-in same day. He also inquired on CarDekho. How should it be treated? Okay, so same answer, whichever comes first. So if a customer had inquired in the morning on CarDekho and in the evening that customer walked in, that customer is a CarDekho customer. So you should update that lead accordingly in DMS. Whereas if the customer first came as a walk-in and then inquired on CarDekho, then that lead won't be able to enter the system anyways. So now the system is now basically built like that you don't have to you don't have to worry about how should I take care of a lead. It will automatically be either a walk-in or a digital lead. There would not be any confusion or duplication happening. Any other questions anybody has? Hope we are able to answer your questions. In case there are any cross questions also, feel free to let us know right now. Okay, seems there are no more questions. In that case, we will wrap up. So definitely thanks a lot to everybody for your time. Hope this was helpful and we were able to answer your questions. Question. Renault Nagaon, Dealer Mart app does not work. So good. So this is an important clarification. So the Dealer Mart app is not really built for Renault right now. It's an application which we have built as CarDekho, but it is not built for Renault right now. You may have heard in the dealer convention that was done in January, it was announced that Renault is coming up with an app which will be very similar to the DealerMart app, which will be basically an app for DMS. So that will be the app that you will all be using eventually. But for now, so DealerMart app is, we don't recommend you to use the DealerMart app because it is not completely synced up with the DMS. So our suggestion is, if you think it is convenient, it helps you, you go ahead and use it. But there will always be, there will always be concerns or problems because it is not perfectly synced up with DMS. So again, keep DMS as your Bible system, the main system where you have to ensure that all updates go through. Okay, one more question. 2-hour lead updation. Yes, it applies to Sundays and holidays as well. That's a directive that's come directly from Rafael, very senior Renault leadership. They think that since customers walk in on all 7 days, so ships on all leads for all 7 days. So that's why it's currently counted as, for all 7 days. So yeah, that's your answer. Question from Gibre Motors. If a customer is inquiring about other issues like servicing, etc., will these be treated as loss? So yeah, definitely. In case the customer is not interested in buying a new car and that lead is for something else totally, yes, you should mark that lead as lost. Another question: How could we update leads in holidays? Okay, that's a question. That's a question you should probably ask your area manager, because the expectation from Renault Central team is that leads should be updated on all days, including holidays. So that is the expectation set up by Renault. So we should try to follow that. Next question, Nipin Dwara. If a lead comes after 6:30 p.m., it has to be updated the same day or the next day before 11 a.m. So if a lead comes after 6:30, you have time till 11 a.m. on the next day to update that lead. Then your 2-hour updation won't be affected. So you have time till next morning 11 a.m. to update any lead. You can update in LMS, update in DMS based on your preference. Okay. Any other question? We'll just hang on for another 5 minutes. There is time, so we'll hang on for 5 minutes. In case there's any other question, you can write it now in the chat window. Yep, I've written down the email ID where, if you have any questions, concerns, there is a help desk set up for you. The email ID is care.cardekho@girnarsoft.com. There's also a phone number which I'll share here for your reference. It's already been sent to you through a bulletin as well, but I'll write it down here too. So in case this is a question from Renault Dimapur, if a lost customer wants to buy a car, how to update in LMS? You can contact the help desk. They will help reopen the lead or create a new lead. So yeah, in such cases you can contact the help desk directly. You can email them or call them. I'll tell you the call back number as well. Any other questions? Was this session helpful in clarifying your doubts? Please say yes, no on the chat if this was helpful or not. I've also pasted the help desk number for all of your references. Please save it in your mobile phones. Keep it handy. If you have any questions, any confusions, you can write it. You can just directly call up the number and we'll help you out. Great. So if there are no more questions, we will wrap this up. I think thank you all of you. Thanks a lot for your time. I hope this was productive and we were able to answer all of your questions. There is a lot of focus on digital right now within Renault India. So need from all of you is to have belief in digital as a medium. It can deliver. It is delivering 10%, 15% conversions also within Renault dealerships, outside as well. So yeah, so if you have any questions, concerns, let us know. But yeah, let's give it our best and let's deliver on digital leads. Thank you.